2025 isn't just another chapter. It's a cosmic turning point for Aries. The stars stir your inner fire, challenging you to confront hidden truths, reshape your values, and rise with renewed purpose. What begins in silence ends in revelation. The universe isn't asking, it's demanding your transformation. Are you listening? Chapter 1. November 1st to 10th. Emotional Awakening and Financial Insight. The first 10 days of November 2025 open with a subtle but powerful shift in the emotional landscape for Aries. The month begins under the influence of the moon entering Aries on November 2nd, heightening your emotional sensitivity and sharpening your instinctual reactions. This lunar transit acts like a mirror, reflecting your inner state with startling clarity. You may feel more reactive, more impulsive, or more attuned to your personal needs. It's as if the cosmos is amplifying your inner voice, urging you to pay attention to what you've been ignoring. This emotional intensity builds toward the full moon in Taurus on November 5th, a pivotal moment that illuminates the axis of self-worth and shared resources. Taurus, the sign of material stability and sensual comfort, opposes the transformative Scorpio sun, creating a tension between what you have and what you desire to become. For Aries, this lunation activates the 2nd and 8th houses, the domains of personal finances, possessions, and psychological depth. You may find yourself re-evaluating your relationship with money, questioning your values, or confronting emotional patterns tied to security and control. The full moon's energy is not gentle. It exposes. It demands clarity. Aries, a sign known for bold action, may feel unusually introspective during this time. The urge to act is still present, but it's tempered by a need to understand the deeper motivations behind your choices. This is a time to observe your emotional triggers, especially those related to scarcity, jealousy, or fear of loss. The moon in Taurus encourages grounding, while the Scorpio sun pushes for transformation. The result is a cosmic invitation to release outdated attachments and redefine what truly sustains you. From November 6th to 10th, Venus in Libra forms a square to Jupiter in Cancer, creating a dynamic tension between your desire for harmony and your need for emotional expansion. Venus in Libra seeks balance in relationships and aesthetics, while Jupiter in Cancer amplifies emotional depth and familial bonds. For Aries, this aspect may manifest as a conflict between personal desires and relational obligations. You might feel pulled between maintaining peace and expressing your true feelings. This is not a time for superficial diplomacy. The square demands authenticity. This Venus-Jupiter interaction also affects your financial decisions. Aries may feel tempted to indulge, to spend impulsively, or to seek comfort through material means. However, the square warns against excess. It's a moment to examine whether your pursuit of pleasure is masking deeper emotional needs. The cosmos is asking you to align your values with your actions, especially in matters of love and money. Throughout this period, Mars continues its transit through Scorpio, intensifying your drive and sharpening your focus. Mars, your ruling planet, is at home in Scorpio's terrain of strategy, secrecy, and transformation. This placement empowers Aries with a more calculated approach to ambition. Rather than charging ahead, you're encouraged to move with precision, to observe before acting, and to harness your energy for long-term goals. Mars in Scorpio enhances your ability to navigate complex emotional terrain, making this an ideal time for introspection, planning, and psychological healing. This transit also activates your 8th house, the realm of shared resources, intimacy, and hidden truths. You may feel compelled to explore deeper emotional connections, confront unresolved issues, or engage in transformative experiences. The energy is intense, but it offers profound growth if you're willing to face what lies beneath the surface. The moon's waning phase during this decade adds a layer of emotional release. As the light diminishes, so does the need to hold on to what no longer serves you. Aries is being guided to let go, not through dramatic gestures but through quiet realizations. This is a time to reflect on your emotional patterns, to identify where you've been reactive rather than intentional, and to begin the process of inner recalibration. The planetary alignments during this period also encourage a re-evaluation of your relationship with power. Scorpio's influence, combined with Mars' presence, brings themes of control, vulnerability, and transformation to the forefront. Aries may feel a growing awareness of how power dynamics play out in personal and professional relationships. This is not about dominance. It's about understanding the source of your strength and using it wisely. As November 10th approaches, the energy begins to shift. The emotional intensity starts to settle and a sense of clarity emerges. Aries may feel more grounded, more aware of their emotional landscape, and more prepared to make strategic decisions. The insights gained during this period lay the foundation for the transformative shifts that will unfold in the second decade of the month. This chapter of November is not about external action. It's about internal awakening. The stars are aligning to reveal what's been hidden in your emotions, your values, and your desires. Aries is being asked to pause, to reflect, and to prepare. The fire within you is still burning, but now it's tempered by wisdom. Chapter 2, November 11th to 20th, Strategic Shifts and Inner Power. The second decade of November unfolds like a locked chamber slowly creaking open. For Aries, this is not a time of outward motion, but of inner recalibration. The fire that usually burns brightly now flickers in the shadows, illuminating corners of the psyche that have long remained untouched. The cosmos is not silent. It speaks in symbols, in tension, in the quiet pull of transformation. Mars, your ruling planet, continues its intense passage through Scorpio. This is a placement that demands depth. Mars in Scorpio does not rush. Stalks. It studies. It waits for the precise moment to strike. For Aries, this energy may feel foreign. Your nature is to act, to leap, to lead. But now the stars ask you to pause, to observe, to strategize. The battlefield is no longer external. It is internal. This transit activates the 8th house of your solar chart, the domain of shared resources, psychological depth, and hidden power. You may find yourself drawn to questions of control, vulnerability, and emotional truth. The desire to understand what lies beneath the surface intensifies. Secrets may stir. Unspoken dynamics in relationships begin to reveal themselves. You are not being tested. You are being initiated. Between November 12th and 15th, subtle aspects form between Mars and outer planets, creating a web of influence that is felt more than seen. Your intuition sharpens. You may sense things before they happen, feel the weight of decisions not yet made, or experience a heightened awareness of others' motives. This is not paranoia. It is perception. Scorpio teaches you to read the room without words. Trust what you feel. The moon wanes through Virgo during this period, casting a discerning light on your routines, your health, and your service to others. Aries may feel compelled to refine, to organize, to correct what feels out of alignment. This is not about perfection. It is about purification. The Virgo moon invites you to examine the systems that support your life, your habits, your rituals, your commitments, and to strip away what no longer serves. On November 19th, a monumental shift begins. Pluto, the planet of transformation, makes its first full transition into Aquarius. This is not just a transit, it is a generational turning point. For Aries, Pluto's move activates the 11th house of community, technology, and future vision. The implications are vast. You may begin to feel a pull toward collective movements, innovative ideas, or unconventional alliances. The lone warrior begins to see the value of the tribe. This shift also brings a new awareness of your role in the larger tapestry. Aries is being asked to consider not just personal ambition but social impact. What do you stand for? What legacy are you building? Pluto in Aquarius will not answer these questions for you. It will simply ensure that you cannot ignore them. As the energy builds, Mercury enters Sagittarius on November 20th, igniting the 9th house of philosophy, travel, and higher learning. The mind expands, ideas flow. Curiosity awakens. Aries may feel a sudden urge to explore, not just physically but intellectually and spiritually. The desire to speak your truth intensifies. But Mercury in Sagittarius is bold, not always careful. Be mindful of how your words land. The truth is powerful, but timing is everything. This Mercury transit also encourages you to seek wisdom beyond your usual sources. Books, teachings, conversations, all become portals. The universe is offering you new lenses through which to view your life. Take them. Use them. Let them challenge what you thought you knew. Throughout this decade, the tension between stillness and movement persists. Mars in Scorpio urges restraint. Mercury in Sagittarius craves expansion. Pluto in Aquarius whispers of revolution. Aries stands at the crossroads of these forces, learning to balance instinct with insight, passion with purpose. Emotionally, this period may feel intense. Not chaotic but concentrated. You may experience moments of deep clarity followed by waves of uncertainty. This is the nature of transformation. The old must dissolve before the new can emerge. Allow yourself to sit in the in-between. It is fertile ground. Relationships may take on a more serious tone. Conversations deepen. Boundaries shift. Power dynamics surface. Aries is being asked to engage with others not from a place of dominance, but from a place of authenticity. The question is no longer what do I want, but what do we need? This shift is subtle but profound. Financially, this is a time for strategic planning. The 8th house activation encourages you to examine shared resources, debts, investments, and long-term security. Quick fixes will not suffice. The stars favor those who think ahead, who build with intention, who understand that true wealth is rooted in clarity and control. As the decade closes, the sun prepares to enter Sagittarius, bringing a new wave of energy. But before that light arrives, Aries must complete the descent. The stars have led you into the depths not to punish but to empower. What you discover here will shape the path ahead. This chapter is not loud. It does not demand attention, but it holds the keys to your next evolution. Listen closely. Move wisely. The fire within you is learning to burn with precision. Chapter 3. November 21st to 30th. Rebirth and bold expression. The final stretch of November arrives with a shift so palpable it feels like stepping into a new dimension. The air changes. The rhythm quickens. The silence that dominated the earlier weeks begins to break. For Aries, this is the moment of emergence. Not from chaos, but from clarity earned through inner excavation. On November 22nd, the sun enters Sagittarius, igniting your 9th house of expansion, belief, and higher truth. The energy pivots from introspective Scorpio to the fiery optimism of Sagittarius, a fellow fire sign that speaks your language. Bold, direct, and unafraid. Aries begins to feel the pull toward movement, physical, intellectual, and spiritual. The desire to explore, to speak, to act returns with force. But this time it's not impulsive. It's intentional. This solar shift brings a renewed sense of purpose. The fog of emotional introspection lifts, revealing a horizon that feels both distant and attainable. Aries may feel a surge of confidence, a readiness to take risks, to challenge norms, to break free from constraints that once felt immovable. The cosmos is no longer whispering, it's calling. As the moon wanes through Leo from November 25th to 28th, it forms harmonious aspects with Mars in Scorpio, creating a potent blend of passion and precision. This lunar influence activates your 5th house, the realm of creativity, self-expression, and pleasure. Aries is encouraged to step into the spotlight, to share what has been brewing beneath the surface. The energy is magnetic, but it demands authenticity. This is not about performance, it's about revelation. Mars remains in Scorpio, continuing to fuel your strategic fire. But now, with the sun in Sagittarius and the moon in Leo, the internal becomes external. The plans you've been crafting, the truths you've been uncovering, the power you've been reclaiming, they begin to take form. Aries is no longer navigating shadows. You are sculpting light. This period also brings a shift in how you relate to others. The earlier tension in relationships begins to ease, replaced by a desire for connection that is both passionate and honest. Aries may feel more open, more willing to share, more curious about others' perspectives. The fire within you seeks reflection, not in solitude but in dialogue. On November 30th, the new moon in Sagittarius marks a powerful reset. This lunation activates your 9th house once again, reinforcing themes of expansion, learning, and spiritual growth. New moons are seeds, and this one is infused with the energy of vision. Aries is being asked to set intentions not just for the month ahead, but for the journey that begins now. What do you believe in? What truth do you want to live by? What path calls to you even if it defies logic? This new moon is not quiet. It carries the momentum of fire, the promise of movement, the thrill of possibility. Aries is being offered a doorway not to escape but to evolve. The choices made now will ripple into the coming year. The clarity gained during the earlier weeks becomes the foundation for bold decisions, for leaps of faith, for declarations that cannot be taken back. Mercury continues its transit through Sagittarius, amplifying your voice and expanding your thoughts. Communication becomes a tool of liberation. Aries may feel compelled to speak truths that have long been buried, to challenge outdated beliefs, to share ideas that once felt too radical. The cosmos supports this. But it also cautions. Speak with purpose, not just volume. This is a time when your words can inspire, provoke, or transform. Use them wisely. The ninth house influence encourages philosophical exploration, travel, and learning. Aries may feel drawn to new cultures, new teachings, new paradigms. The familiar no longer satisfies. The unknown beckons. Emotionally, this period brings a sense of release. The intensity of Scorpio gives way to the buoyancy of Sagittarius. Aries begins to feel lighter, more hopeful, more aligned with the future than the past. But this is not naive optimism. It is earned clarity. You faced the shadows. Now you walk in light. Financially, the energy supports expansion but with discernment. The earlier lessons around value and control remain relevant. Aries is encouraged to invest in ideas, in experiences, in growth, but not to abandon caution. The fire of Sagittarius can burn bright, but it must be directed. Impulse is tempting. Strategy is wiser. As the month closes, the planetary alignments suggest a turning point. Aries is no longer reacting. You are creating. The energy is not about survival. It is about expression. The cosmos has stripped away what was false. What remains is your essence, raw, refined, and ready. This chapter is a celebration of rebirth. Not dramatic, not chaotic, but profound. Aries emerges not as a warrior in battle but as a visionary with purpose. The stars have shifted. The path is open. And the fire within you is no longer seeking. It is leading. As November closes, Aries stands reborn, refined by shadow, ignited by vision. The stars have stripped away illusion, revealing purpose beneath impulse. What lies ahead is not a continuation but a new beginning. The fire within you no longer seeks direction. It becomes it. The cosmos has spoken. Now you lead.